Bet. All right, guys. We're going to talk about why now is the best time to be a Batman fan.
Hey everyone, it's the Caped Clinician, and today we're going to talk about why I think that now is the best time to be a Batman fan. From comics, movies, and games to hidden gems along the
Dan Morehart, Robert Pattinson, Michael Batman.
way.
Game.
By the end of this video, you'll realize that now is Batman's new golden era. But before we can get to
That's
that,
so
we first
tough.
have to understand why Batman fell off for a little while.
Look at that cape, bro. And this is like Fox?
And how he
Batman?
managed to claw his way back.
fuck.
And to do that, we need to go all the way back to
Arkham
9 years
Knight's
ago,
goated, bro.
2016. 2016
This is not 2016, bro. This is the Ultimate World.
seemed
Yeah.
like it could be a really amazing year for Batman, with new storytellers and new actors taking the reins, and in the wake of a brand new Batman game. Scott Snyder had written Batman for several years during DC's New 52, but the company was ready to reboot its comics line with DC Universe Rebirth. This was a really highly anticipated initiative from DC, which was going to bring back classic characters like Wally West Flash, but also promise new directions for storytelling, like with the Justice League, with Superman, and especially with Batman. Scott Snyder was stepping down from the title, the architect of many people's youths and their fandom for Batman. Replacing him was Tom King. Tom King was a really interesting pick to take over the main Batman title, because he had history with both DC and Marvel doing some experimental smaller series, like Marvel's Vision series, which saw Vision get a new robotic family and try and live out his life in the suburbs. King had also written the Mr. Miracle miniseries for DC, which was very, very highly acclaimed. When King took
That's
on the
an
run in
award winner?
2016,
Yeah, let's-
he started with a bold new direction,
I
with
gotta
two
watch that.
characters, one called Gotham and the other called Gotham Girl. This was a clear attempt by Tom King to try and explore the nature of Gotham as a city through these two characters with the same name, but it ended up falling quite flat for a few readers, and this would continue throughout the rest of Tom King's run. Tom King clearly had a vision for Batman, but it wasn't a vision that was resonating with fans at the time. From stories like The War
Nah,
of
was
Jokes
it?
and
This
Riddles
sounds
to
good.
The City of Bane,
Nah, I
Tom
need
King
that.
resonating with
Need that, bro. I need that. One sec. Sec, real quick, twin. That's tough, bro. Shout out Tom King. Give me a second, twin. Bad magic.
fans at the time. From stories like The War of Jokes and Riddles to The City of Bane, Tom King did play around with some classic Batman villains, but his takes on them were not memorable, and more importantly, they were boring. Perhaps most perplexingly was Tom King's voice for Batman. To try and capture the voice of a character that's been around for decades is an unenviable task, but the way that King went about it showed that he didn't really understand the fundamentals of what made Batman work. Most egregiously was King's handling of the Batman and Catwoman relationship. Firstly, he made Batman call Catwoman Cat, and Catwoman just call Batman Bat. It was a very strange choice,
Bat.
and more than that, he tried to play around
That's good if it's a narrator saying it. Like a little cool, the cat and the bat, alright?
with the idea of Batman and Catwoman getting married, but it ended up just being a mess of a story
Yeah.
that really didn't sit well with fans. At the same time, something interesting was happening in the space of DC movies. Following Man of Steel in 2013, Zack Snyder took the helm of the next movie, Batman vs Superman, promising to introduce a new version of Batman for the DCEU. His choice was Ben Affleck, which immediately intrigued moviegoers because we'd never really seen a Batman who was a bit older and more jaded before. This promised to be a new take on Batman that might resonate with a more gritty aesthetic that people wanted in the mid to late 2010s. However, as you probably know, that movie was a complete and utter disaster for DC. Fans just didn't like
Nigga
the
said that
vision
with a
Snyder took with
smile.
either Batman or Superman. Their conflict just wasn't believable, and more than that, this version of Batman killed people on screen, which people really were not a big fan of. Zack Snyder did have a vision for this version of Batman and how that would play out over his future Justice League movies, but sadly, due to circumstances in Snyder's personal life,
Nah,
he never
who the fuck is this? Dead ass though? If we dead ass, bro. It's like if you look at his silhouette, you black it out. What NBA player is that? Dead ass, bro. You gonna be saying Stephen Curry, but dead ass supposed to be like what? like Tim what's the person's name? Like that is just like what DeAndre Ayton. But no, it's Steph Curry. Move like Steph Curry shit like this is insane, bro. I was thinking of Tim Robinson mixed with bro from I can't think of his name. One of the best players ever, Spurs legend, San Antonio, bro. Tim Duncan. That's Tim Duncan, bro. Damn,
got to see that vision fully realized.
Ruined everything.
And so ultimately, this version of Batman is probably one of the most boring versions ever created. But there is a twist. You see, the comics and the movies might have been
say
doing
it with
quite
a
badly,
smile.
but the games were actually in quite a good spot. Rocksteady had just released Batman Arkham Knight in 2015, the year prior, and while that game wasn't completely critically acclaimed, it was praised for its amazing graphics, and eventually people got around to understanding the point of that game's narrative, the fact that the entire Arkham series was a deep exploration of the relationship between Batman and the Joker. Ultimately, Arkham Knight is still
when he was in his fucking head, dead ass, that was fucking crazy.
Praised and played to this day. So in the mid to late 2010s, things weren't looking that great for Batman. But how about in the 2020s? Did the turn of the decade change things for the Caped Crusader? Well, not really. In the comics, Tom King was replaced by James Tynion, and then later on by Chip Zdarsky. Both of these runs are a real disappointment for fans, most importantly because of the wasted potential of seemingly
I don't remember their names.
the all-star teams. James Tynion was famous for his indie series, Something is Killing the Children, and people were hoping that maybe he'd bring
That sounds insane though.
a more horror-focused angle to Batman. Prior to writing Batman, Chip Zdarsky had written a really famous run on Daredevil, which people think is going to be adapted for season 3 of Marvel's new TV show, Daredevil Born Again.
Season 3, over season 2? Damn, bro. So now with Batman, I don't actually remember their names. But the best comic book Marvel's Curly, but damn, bro.
Both of these writers were joined by new artists who brought youthful vibrancy and a new approach to drawing Batman, like Guillermo March and Jorge Jimenez. Unfortunately,
Jorge Jimenez?
the stories were ultimately directionless, and despite having really good artists, there was a general feeling of an uninspired visual design, and that's because of an uninspired narrative focus. It was clear from the beginning that James Tynion as a replacement to Tom King was only meant to be a temporary deal, but he ended up staying on that book for 2 years, delivering a number of stories, which all amalgamated to delivering a really disappointing and bland version of Batman and all of his villains. Unlike Snyder, who provided a definitive look at some of these villains,
Let's say it wasn't planned. That's what the thing. Not saying that bad or don't even get the character. They weren't planned to do it, bro. And like you just keep going and going and like, come on now.
and Batman himself as a character, while also providing new creations and recontextualizing some classic characters like the Joker, James Tynion just didn't take big enough swings, and the characters that he did create are ultimately not memorable and have barely appeared in any comic book since. Chip Zdarsky's run was more personally disappointing for me, as a massive fan of his work on Daredevil. Zdarsky resurrected some older, more out there concepts for the character, like the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, which was a concept most popularized
Jorge Jimenez did this?
by Grant Morrison's legendary run on Batman. But more than that, Zdarsky did try and explain some other stories left by other writers, like the Batman 3 Jokers concept. This idea was first proposed in Justice League by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok, and was spun out into its own Elseworlds.
One of you will set up the factory, while the others help me out with casting call. Bro, it's time the Joker had more meaning. You want to define things too much, my friend, but I'm forgiving this a whirl. Theatrics are my specialty, and I have a good eye for talent, says the failed Canadian. That's actually crazy, bro. 3 Jokers, so they can do all this. That actually great idea, bro.
Series, but
These things are so fucking scary.
that wasn't very well received. So Zdarsky wanted to put his own spin on
Joker!
to try and canonize
Why did I just peep that, bro? Fuck.
that within the main series, but again, it just didn't work very well. He attempted a story called The Joker Year One, almost like a counterpiece to Batman Year One, famous story by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, but that series was just an absolute nightmare for DC, and fans have completely overwritten that and just decided in their own heads that that is not canon whatsoever. So, okay, maybe the comic books aren't doing very well, but that's fine. How about the games? Yeah, so the games weren't doing very well either. You see, Rocksteady concluded their Arkham trilogy with Batman Arkham Knight, or really I should say a quadrilogy, because of a WB Montreal's Batman Arkham Origins,
That's great, bro. You end it on a peak, bro. That's tough.
which I think people understand now is a very underrated game, but I digress. Rocksteady concluded their work on that
Holy
series,
fuck.
and as a result
I think it's terrifying.
of that, Batman felt a bit directionless in video games.
Who's that?
Concluded their work on that series, and as a result of that, Batman felt a bit
You can
directionless
do whatever, bro. What the
in
fuck?
video games for a while. The best that DC could come up with, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Both of these were critical and commercial flops.
I remember Suicide Squad Kill Justice League. I didn't play that game at all or anything or saw anything about it after the commercial. Dang. Gotham Knights. That too. Same. I gotta watch that gameplay at least, bro. Deadass.
And worse than that, they defiled the legacy of Kevin Conroy's Batman, made even worse by Kevin Conroy's unfortunate passing just prior to the game's release. But here's the twist, and here's where the redemption of Batman begins, with one movie released in 2022. One movie that set the world on fire, Matt Reeves' The Batman. This movie immediately stood out to people when it was announced.
Banger.
Whatsoever. So, okay, maybe the comic books aren't doing very well, but that's fine. How about the games? Yeah, so the games weren't doing very well either. You see, Rocksteady concluded their Arkham trilogy with Batman Arkham Knight, or really I should say a quadrilogy, because of a WB Montreal's Batman Arkham Origins, which I think people understand now is a very underrated game, but I digress. Rocksteady concluded their work on that series, and as a result of that, Batman felt a bit directionless in video games for a while. The best that DC could come up with, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Both of these were critical and commercial flops, and worse than that, they defiled the legacy of Kevin Conroy's Batman, made even worse by Kevin Conroy's unfortunate passing just prior to the game's release. But here's the twist, and here's where the redemption of Batman begins, with one movie released in 2022. One movie that set the world on fire, Matt Reeves' The Batman. This movie immediately stood out to people when it was announced and when the first trailer was unveiled at DC Fandom. It stood out because of its incredible visuals and its unique casting of Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame as the new Batman, which
Cut.
his unfortunate passing just prior to the game's release. But here's the twist, and here's where the redemption of Batman begins, with one movie released in 2022. One movie that set the world on fire, Matt Reeves' The Batman.
Something in the way. Something in the way. Bro, I haven't seen that yet as a Halloween movie. That's the Halloween movie. I haven't fucking seen it yet. And I have to. Holy. I might watch it Thursday, October 30th this year. No, I have to actually. I'm trying to see if I see it with people though, you know, because human interaction. But dang, I need to see that. I need to see that before Friday or on Friday night. That's my Friday night. Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
This movie immediately stood out to people when it was announced and when the first trailer was unveiled at DC Fandom. It stood out because of its incredible visuals and its unique casting of Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame as the new Batman, which ended up being a spectacular slam dunk for DC. The
visual effects, that was visually affected, bro.
Twilight fame as the new Batman, which ended up being a spectacular...
This scene was visually affected. Dead ass, bro. And it had a new technology, too. That's when you know when you're really doing shit in cinema, bro, in movies. When you make something for a movie and it's a new wave, it's a new tech they use futurely, bro. So that's when like you do shit like a dolly zoom, bro. Use a new panels, bro. This shit, bro. Use this thing. This is just ran with it after it, bro. So shout out them, bro. This is tech, and that's crazy because look at the fucking shadow. Look at the lighting on the ground. You know, look at the shadows and look at the light on the ground. If I don't know if this one, I think this was CGI, not CGI, but like visual effects with the big screens, bro. So the fact that you like flash and get on the ground, that's so fucking stunning. So fucking stunning, bro. When I rewatch this year, first time that's like a couple years, I'm gonna go crazy, bro. I'm gonna go crazy. This movie's so tough. With the joke, the Penguin, bro, that was fucking hilarious. The Commissioner, bro, sees him jumping away. Him being year one, Batman can do everything perfectly, bro. Him figuring shit out last second. The fucking hey guys scene, bro. The fucking cop that hates him but loves Batman. Oh, so crazy, bro. So crazy, bro.
Slam dunk for DC. The story and the atmosphere were dark.
So much so he's the Batman. That's how it's gonna happen. And it's gonna be so cool using it in DCEU, bro, because his dad's gonna be him. And like, oh, he doesn't come out. He doesn't come out of the cave that often. If you explain why you can't get him for casting, because he does other movie shit. Oh, he doesn't come out of the cave that often. And I always said it's like, So you don't. He's so mysterious. Like just like Batman is, he's gonna show up for everything, right? That be big shit. Yeah, you get booked for that shit, right? You gonna big Just League stuff, big World's Finest. You can get them booked for that. But everything else, no. And then if you need some liaison, bro, send not Alfred, but you're gonna send like Batgirl. You're gonna send one of the Robins, bro. It's tough, bro. So more ways, so creative ways you can do this, bro. So tough.
Gritty, and this version of Batman leaned more into his detective roots than any version of Batman ever put to screen before. And the hits just don't stop coming for The Dark Knight. In the wake of the Batman, the comics and the games have also followed suit in trying something new, bold and exciting for Batman fans. In the mainline series, Matt Fraction has just started a new run with Batman #1, taking us all the way back to an issue 1 to show just how bold his direction is going to be. And he's paired with that artist, Jorge Jimenez, who I mentioned earlier. But
it's Jimenez.
This time, he's given more free reign to really do something
Jimenez and more
unique with the visuals for Batman. This time, Gotham isn't dark and rain-soaked like we saw in the Batman movie.
And I like this nigga just looks like a Jorge Jimenez. Great
This
name.
time, Gotham is more colourful, and Batman's new costume is also reflective of that bold narrative shift. But what if you do want a gritty Batman costume? Is
No idea.
Also reflective of that bold narrative shift. But what if you do want a gritty Batman, and you don't just want to watch the movies, you want to read a gritty Batman comic? Well, DC have you covered on that front as well with Scott Snyder. Yes, the same Scott Snyder who wrote Batman during the early 2010s, returning for Absolute Batman. This series is so popular
Absolute Batman?
that just yesterday, as of this recording, Absolute Batman #1 was announced to be going back for a 9th printing. It's sold out not once, not twice.
You're lying. You're lying.
Not 3 times, but 8 times. And now DC needs to print it yet again. In my eye, 3 times announced to be going back for a 9th printing.
You know how fucking insane that is?
It's sold out not once, not twice, not 3 times,
Selling
but
out
8
just
times.
once, bro.
And now DC needs to print it yet again. In my eyes,
Holy
Absolute
fuck.
Batman is the best
9th printing is insane.
currently releasing comic book, and it's because it takes Batman, a character who we've known for so long, and completely shakes up everything we know, while still feeling true to that character. Absolute Batman inverts Bruce Wayne as a character. Instead of being a rich billionaire, Bruce Wayne is actually a working class street level hero. Through relentless discipline, Bruce Wayne mapped out the entirety of Gotham and made his own system of Batcaves, an entire network underneath the city for his eventual transformation into Batman. He is the chaos in this system. He is the one fighting against the order of Gotham, the corruption of the city, and the pervasiveness of organized crime. For comic book fans, I think right now, Batman
First of all, he
is the
can fucking
chaos
do that with his
network
cape
underneath the city for his eventual transformation into Batman. He
What
is
the
the chaos
fuck?
in the system. He is the one fighting against the order of Gotham, the corruption of the city, and the pervasiveness of organized crime. For comic book fans, I think right now Batman is doing even better than they think. Not just is Batman in the mainline series back to form, and we have Absolute Batman, but we also have miniseries and another ongoing series that's doing just as well. That ongoing series is Detective Comics, the original series in which Batman was introduced. Tom Taylor took over Detective Comics during DC's
So now we have
original
definitive.
series.
Now we know. He's coming in from that way, bro. People that thought he was flipped the other way. No, it's this way, bro.
Batman was
But it's crazy you could look the other way. Not gonna lie.
introduced. Tom Taylor took over Detective Comics during DC's recent All In initiative, an idea
Oh my god, I look tough. Mora with Snyder. And Williamson, they're all so tough, bro. Where do they collab with? Where did these comic writers and artists? Where is their like workstation? Where's their studio where they work at? Like their offices, bro. Because what? Because like, oh my god, this is like the one place where creativity kills, bro. It's king. Creativity's king here, bro. Like, you can only keep doing new shit, new teams, bro. Oh my god.
that was meant to
And
bring
then
new
going back to OG characters,
fans
oh my
and new
God.
readers into the universe. Detective Comics has been doing so well recently, and in my opinion, it is completely underrated. Tom Taylor and Mikkel Janin are crafting such an interesting story for Batman. Not only with
Nah, they were
Tom
like,
Taylor and Mikkel Janin are crafting such An interesting story
The
for
Wrecking
Batman,
Crew?
not only with old and existing villains, but also with new villains that challenge different aspects of Batman's character. Most recently, the pair did a story called Mercy of the Father, where they explored Batman's relationship
Gosh, bro, look at the whole Bat fam, bro.
To Thomas Wayne, his dad, and how Thomas Wayne and Joe Chill were actually more connected than we previously thought. The current storyline, called The Courage That Kills, promises to introduce a new villain called the Lion, who's bringing a new brand of chemical virus to Gotham. And that miniseries I was talking about is called Batman Dark Patterns. Now, I've unfortunately not had the time to read Dark Patterns yet, but this is where I'm going to leave it to you guys in the comments. I need you guys to give me your honest opinions on this series, because from what I've heard, it's absolutely incredible. So the comics have been doing incredibly well. In fact, Batman issue 1 by Matt Fraction sold 500,000 copies, which is insane. But what about the movies? Well, The Batman Part 2 is coming out in a couple of years, and even though it's taken a long time for Matt Reeves to come up with another script, I have no doubt that it's going to be something really special. I just hope that it can live up to the hype that's been built up over the last few years.
It's hard.
But more than that, we're actually in for a unique challenge for the Caped Crusader.
Just to match it, but also the hype too. Yeah, bro. Oh my god, I have to. This is my #1 Halloween movie. I gotta fucking watch this shit, bro. Fuck.
In the wake of James Gunn's Superman,
Yes.
all eyes are
Let's talk
on
about
how
it. Let's
he
talk
is
about
going
it.
to
Let's
handle
talk about it.
Batman.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
But he has such a large amount of creative control, and we don't know if Robert Pattinson is going to be the DCU Batman, or if it's going to be someone new. But James Gunn is indicating that we're going to have a completely new Batman to interact with David Corenswet's Superman. Given James Gunn's...
That's what he's saying. That's politically right term you have to say, because right now you don't want to say that, but that's what he's saying. Okay? What the fuck's this?
incredible track record.
This is Phoenix from
Batman
Suicide
to
Squad?
interact with David Corenswet's Superman.
This is from Suicide Squad 2 or this is
Given
Peacemaker?
James
If
Gunn's
it's Peacemaker, I
incredible
can't see
track
nothing.
record with movies like the Guardians of the
No, that's
Galaxy
deadass.
trilogy, Superman.
What scene is that from? That's from the Suicide Squad.
Given James Gunn's
That looks like David Corenswet, not gonna lie. But not a little shorter.
incredible track
6'4", buddy.
record with movies like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not gonna lie, just back to back bangers, bro. In 2021, 2023, 2025. Every 2 years, you're gonna drop a fucking banger? That's how it fucking works? He's the GOAT, bro.
Galaxy trilogy, The Suicide Squad, and now Superman. I think we can have complete faith that the DCU Batman is going to take a unique but still beloved direction for us fans. So
I feel like it'd be fully just contrast to how the colors are, black and the colorful. That's how it'll be Batman, and Superman. It's gonna make the characters pop more. So Superman, his style, his Metropolis world right there is gonna pop more. Going to God, dead ass, bro. Just keep it like that to me.
but the movies are in a really, really good place right now. But how about the games? Well, TT Games just announced Lego
Yeah, how about the game, bro? We need tough games, bro. In the gaming sphere, I know Wolverine's coming out, bro. We need tough games, bro.
Batman, The Legacy of the Dark Knight, which promises to be a completely new Batman story, riffing off the old movies and integrating them all into one seamless new story.
Batman
That game
movie.
looks absolutely incredible, and a real love letter to Batman and Batman fans, integrating all of these different amazing aspects of Batman's mythos in the most beautifully rendered Lego game we have ever seen. DC is essentially adopting a more is more storytelling approach with Batman, but instead of just giving us more comics in one series at the same time, like for example making the main Batman series 3 times a month, they're giving us more Batman in different interpretation.
Exactly. So all it takes that people will love, right? The detective series, you know, the new series, and like the he didn't even talk about world. He didn't even say world's finest. What? Niggas bugging.
The main Batman, Absolute, the games, the movies, 2 different types of movie universe, all of it is coming together to deliver us a new golden era for Batman that you have to be there for. Looking ahead, the future only gets more exciting. Rocksteady is supposedly making a new Batman Arkham game, being told to get right back on Batman after the failure of Suicide Squad.
Holy fuck, bro. And after years, they're gonna come up with a good storyline, bro. That'd be tough.
In the comics, not only are we getting the introduction of the Lion, but we're also getting the introduction of a new villain
The Lion is interesting, bro.
called the Minotaur from
Okay.
Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez in the main Batman
Look at that Batwing.
series. And
Jorge Jimenez.
we're going to get a new story spotlighting Absolute Joker for the
Oh my gosh. Joker. I don't even know how they're gonna. Yeah, all these I've seen glimpses and bits of the villains. I've no fucking idea, bro. But this is insane, bro. He looks like he's 120 feet tall.
First time coming in the next few months.
Like a Titan. Oh my god, it's Titan Joker.
And more than that, Batman is going to have a crossover with Absolute Wonder Woman later on in
They're both. He's a brawler. I don't know her in this thing, but I think she's even more badass.
2025. My hopes for the future? Keep it new, keep it fresh, and keep it in the hands of creators. It's only because these series have been so faithfully given to creators in good trust that Batman is doing so well right now. From TT Games and their Lego Batman rendition, to Matt Reeves with the Batman, Matt Fraction with his mainline Batman series, and Scott Snyder in the Absolute Batman series. All of these creators are giving us new interpretations of Batman to enjoy, whether you're a casual reader or a casual movie watcher or maybe a die-hard Batman fan. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think about this era of Batman. What series have you been enjoying reading? Are you excited about the Batman Part 2? And what other hidden gems might I have missed that are on your pull lists every single month? Be sure to like the video.
Without a doubt, bro, it's World's Finest. It's just so fun, bro. It's such a fun read. I gotta finish that, bro. But dang, bro, it's so I gotta get back on it, bro. It's just getting me right into the mode. But yes, Batman, I don't even know how peak he is right now, bro. They make a new game, it'll be so tough. But deadass with the comics, how many storylines he just said they're having with the Absolute Batman, with the mainline Batman, bro. What's the third one? And then he'd even bring, and the fourth one, deadass is or the Detective Series Batman, the mainline Batman, and the Absolute Batman, and then World's Finest, bro. This fucking multiverse is so fucking perfect, bro. Holy shit. This is why we need niggas like this, bro, to break this shit down, to explain this shit, to like show how fucking amazing we're living in right now, bro. Shout out to the Cape Clinican, bro. Because damn, bro, shit like that. This is a great video, bro. This is a great video. But deadass, bro. That's tough.